Today, we'll be making this granny square bucket bag. The bag measures 8.66 inches in length and 4.72 inches in height. It features 6 colorful granny square pieces, a zippered inner pocket with a structured mesh lining, 2 crocheted circular side panels, and a D-ring closure. Let's take a look at this flower piece. It consists of 6 rounds in total, each using different colors and stitch techniques. First, we'll crochet the flower shape following the diagram, and then we'll add a border around it to turn it into a square flower piece. Retrieve the yarn, and we'll start by creating a magic ring. Hold the yarn with your hand and wrap it around your fingers twice to form 2 loops. Hold the yarn with your other hand. Transfer the ring to the hand and hold the bottom of the rings tightly to secure them in place. Take out 3 mm crochet hook and insert it into the large hole. Hook the thread out. Now, you should see a loop on the crochet hook. Then, yarn over and pull the yarn through the loop on the hook. You'll see a V-shaped stitch forming. This is our first chain stitch. Crochet 1 more chain. Yarn over and pull up the yarn through the loop. The second chain stitch is complete. Next, we will crochet 3 incomplete half double crochet stitches. Yarn over, insert the hook into the ring and pull up a loop. The length of the yarn you pull up should be consistent with the lengths of the previous 2 loops. This is an incomplete half double crochet. Then, press down on the loop with your middle finger. Yarn over again, insert the hook into the stitch, and pull up a loop. Now that we've crocheted 2 incomplete half double crochets, and there are 5 loops on the hook, we will repeat the process and crochet 1 more incomplete half double crochet. To complete the puff stitch, finish the 3 half double crochets, leaving 7 loops on the hook. Yarn over and pull through all 7 loops at once. After completing the stitch, a V-shape will form. Place a stitch marker to mark this spot. Next, crochet 1 chain stitch. It can be worked a bit loosely, so avoid making it too tight. Next, we'll continue by crocheting another puff stitch consisting of 3 incomplete half double crochets. Yarn over, insert the hook into the loop, and pull up a loop. You'll have 3 loops on the hook. Repeat this step 2 more times. Yarn over and pull through all the loops at once to complete the puff stitch. Crochet a chain stitch again. We will repeat the combination of 1 puff stitch and 1 chain stitch 2 more times, making a total of 4 stitch groups. After completing the last chain stitch, gently stretch the loop out, and then push the crocheted stitches together slightly. Locate the short tail of the yarn and gently pull it. Locate the moving thread and pull it in the opposite direction until the circle tightens as much as possible. Then, pull the yarn tail tightly to fully close the ring. Remove the stitch marker and make a slip stitch in the marked position. Insert the hook into the stitch where the marker was placed. Place the yarn tail onto the hook to conceal it while crocheting. Yarn over, and pull the yarn through both the stitch and the loop on the hook. Pull it tightly. With that, the slip stitch is complete. You'll notice the stitch becomes very small once tightened. Pull out the loop and cut off the yarn. For the second round, pull out the yarn, leaving a 2-inch tail, and tie a slip knot. The insertion points for the second round are the chain stitches between the puff petals we just crocheted. You can see the spaces here. Locate the first large space next to the slip stitch. Insert the hook into the large hole, place the yarn tail over the hook, and then place the loop onto the hook. Then, pull the loop through. In each hole, we will crochet 6 half double crochets. In the first hole, we'll begin with 2 chain stitches. Then, we will crochet 6 half double crochets into this large hole. Yarn over, then insert your hook into the same hole. Yarn over again and pull up a loop, leaving 3 loops on your hook. Yarn over once more and pull through all 3 loops on your hook at once. After completing the stitches, a V shape will appear, marking the position of our first stitch. Then, we will continue to crochet 5 more half double crochets into the same hole. After completing the 6 half double crochets, we will crochet 1 chain stitch. Next, we'll repeat the combination of 6 half double crochets and 1 chain stitch in each large hole. Let me demonstrate it again. Cut off the yarn tails. Continue crocheting the remaining 4 groups of 6 half double crochets, each followed by 1 chain stitch. After completing the last stitches, locate the first V-stitch we marked at the beginning of this round. Insert your hook into this stitch and make a slip stitch to close the round. Cut off the yarn. Now, take the yarn for the third round, leaving a 2 to 3 inch tail, and tie a slip knot. For the third round, we will again insert the stitches into the large spaces created by the chain stitches. We will crochet 3 half double crochets, followed by 2 chain stitches, and then 3 more half double crochets into the same space. Let me demonstrate it. Locate the position for the first stitch, which is in the first large space next to the slip stitch. Insert the hook into the large hole, and then put the loop onto the hook. Then, pull the loop through. Next we will start with 2 chain stitches. Continue to crochet 3 half double crochets, followed by 2 chain stitches, and then 3 more half double crochets into this same space. Making sure to place the yarn tail over the hook. Pin a marker at the first stitch. Continue by crocheting 2 half double crochets. Then, crochet 2 chains, followed by 3 half double crochets. The first space is now complete. In the remaining large spaces, continue crocheting the combination of 3 half double crochets, 2 chain stitches, and 3 half double crochets. Make a slip stitch into the first stitch to close this round. Take out the yarn for the fourth round and make a slip knot. The insertion points for the fourth round are at the chain stitches at the top of each petal, where we will crochet 10 half double crochets. The first position to crochet will be the large space created by the chains next to the slip stitch. Insert the hook into the large space, place the yarn tail and loop on the hook, then start by crocheting 2 chains. Next, crochet 10 half double crochets into this same position. Mark the first stitch. Continue crocheting the remaining 9 half double crochets. After completing the 10 half double crochets, the petal shape will have formed. Next, we'll continue by crocheting 10 half double crochets at the tip of each remaining petal. After completing the last stitches, make a slip stitch into the first stitch to close the round. For the 5th round, leave a 2 to 3 inches yarn tail and tie a single knot, just as before. Let's take a look at where to start the 5th round. We will skip the first stitch where the slip stitch is located and begin crocheting from the 2nd stitch. Skip the first stitch and hook into 2nd stitch. Crochet 1 chain stitch. Then, we will crochet a single crochet into this stitch. Insert the hook into the stitch and pull up the yarn, leaving 2 loops on the hook. Then, yarn over and pull through both loops at once to complete the stitch. This forms a V-shaped stitch, which is your first single crochet stitch. Place a marker. Next, we will crochet 8 single crochets, 1 into each corresponding stitch. For the next stitch, we will crochet a half double crochet by inserting the hook into the large space between the orange petals. Insert the hook into the large space under the orange petals. Pull the yarn up to match the height of the previous 2 loops. This is the half double crochet. When starting the 2nd set of stitches, follow the same process. Skip the first stitch. Begin from the 2nd stitch, crochet 9 single crochets. And then crochet a half double crochet into the large space. We will follow the method described above to crochet around the entire piece. After finishing the last half double crochet, make a slip stitch into the first stitch to close the round. Cut off yarn and stretch loop out. Take the yarn for the 6th round, leaving a 2 to 3 inches tail, and make a slip knot. In the 6th round, we will begin crocheting the outline of the flower, shaping it into a square. We will start with the first stitch where we made the slip stitch. Insert the hook into the stitch and place the yarn tails and loops on the hook. Hook the loop out. First, we will crochet 3 chain stitches. Then, we will crochet a double crochet into the same stitch. Yarn over, insert the hook into the stitch, yarn over again and pull through to have 3 loops on the hook. Then, yarn over and pull through the first 2 loops, followed by another yarn over and pull through the last 2 loops to complete the double crochet stitch. Pin a marker at the first stitch. In the 2nd stitch, we will continue by crocheting another double crochet. In the 3rd stitch, which marks the corner of the square, we will crochet the following sequence. a double crochet, a triple crochet, 2 chain stitches, another triple crochet, and then a double crochet. 1 double crochet. Now we'll crochet a triple crochet. Yarn over twice, insert the hook into the stitch. Yarn over again, and pull up a loop. Yarn over again and pull through the first 2 loops on the hook. Yarn over again and pull through the next 2 loops on the hook. Yarn over once more and pull the yarn through the last 2 loops on the hook. This completes a triple crochet. Next, crochet 2 chain stitches. In the same stitch, continue by crocheting another triple crochet followed by a double crochet. Now we have finished a corner. We will crochet a double crochet in the next stitch. Crochet a half double crochet in next stitch. We can cut off the yarn tails. Crochet 3 single crochets, 1 in each of the next 3 stitches. Next, we will crochet 3 half double crochets, 1 in each. Continue by crocheting 3 single crochets. Crochet a half double crochet. Then, crochet 2 double crochets. Now that we've reached the corner again, we will crochet the following sequence: a double crochet, a triple crochet, 2 chain stitches, another triple crochet, and then a double crochet. Next, crochet 2 double crochets. Then, crochet 2 half double crochets. 2 single crochet stitches. In this position, we will crochet a slip stitch. Make this slip stitch the same size as a regular stitch. We will continue by crocheting 2 single crochets. Next, crochet 2 half double crochets. Then, crochet 3 double crochets. Now that we've reached the third corner, we will crochet the following in this stitch: a double crochet, a triple crochet, 2 chain stitches, another triple crochet, and then a double crochet. Continue by crocheting 2 double crochets, 1 in each of the next 2 stitches. Then, crochet a half double crochet. Crochet 3 single crochets. Next, crochet 3 half double crochets. Then, crochet 3 single crochets. 1 half double crochet and 1 double crochet. To create the fourth corner, crochet a double crochet, a triple crochet, 2 chain stitches, another triple crochet, and then a double crochet. Then, crochet 3 double crochets. One half double crochet. 2 single crochets. a slip stitch followed by 2 single crochets, 2 half double crochets, in the last stitch, crochet a double crochet. Then, we will make a slip stitch into the first stitch. Tighten the loop and cut off the yarn. Hide the yarn tails by weaving them into the nearby stitches on the back of the work. We will repeat crocheting 6 flower pieces according to the color table, then arrange them in the specified order, with 1 petal on each flower facing upward. First, we will connect the flower pieces vertically. Take the first piece and locate the connection points at the bottom left corner. Find the vertical column just to the left of the corner chain stitch. The corresponding V-stitch for this vertical column is on the upper right side. Use a stitch marker to pin it. Find the connection stitch on the second piece, which will be the stitch located just to the right of the corner chains at the bottom right of the piece. Similarly, mark the connection stitches on the upper side of both pieces. Locate the position of the last stitch corresponding to the left piece. We will continue connecting the upper pieces in the same manner. Take out 20 inches yarn and make a slip knot. Insert the hook from top to bottom through the large hole in the bottom left corner of the right piece, and then from top to bottom through the large hole in the bottom right corner of the left piece. Place the loop onto the hook from the back. Pull the loop through the pieces. Yarn over and pull the yarn through the loop on the hook. Here forms a V-stitch. Next, insert the hook from top to bottom through the outer half of the marked stitches. The outer half loop refers to the one that is closer to the crochet piece. Yarn over and pull the yarn through both stitches with the hook. Don't pull the yarn too tightly. Remove the marker. Keep the connecting yarn below the piece, and continue connecting in this manner until you reach the last marked stitch at the top. After connecting the last stitch, we will continue to connect the corner chains. Next, we will connect the upper 2 pieces, starting with the large holes at the corner chain spaces. Keep the yarn on the back. Remove the marker. After connecting the corner chains, we will crochet a chain and pull it tightly. Stretch out the loop and cut off the yarn. We will connect the remaining 2 pieces in the same manner. After that, we will rotate the piece and connect the horizontal sections, sewing the outer half stitches together in the same manner as before. When we reach the intersection point of the 4 crochet pieces, we will pull the loop a bit longer, skip over the previously connected stitch, crochet a chain stitch, and then continue connecting starting from the first stitch of the next pieces. After finishing the connection of the 6 granny square pieces, we will attach the granny squares onto the mesh piece and begin working on the edging. Take the plastic mesh canvas out from the kit. Place the crochet piece over the mesh piece, ensuring that the grids on the mesh align 1 to 1 with the stitches of the granny squares. At each corner of the whole piece, crochet 4 single crochets, while for the other stitches, work 1 single crochet into each corresponding grid of the mesh. For the grids of the mesh piece, 1 single crochet in each of them. In the middle section, we will crochet 2 single crochets into the large hole of each corner, and at the connecting points between the granny squares, we will also make 1 single crochet. Take out the yarn and make a slip knot at 3 inches from the end. Insert the crochet hook through the large hole at the corner of the granny square and into the corresponding corner grid of the mesh. Place the loop on the hook and pull it through both pieces. Crochet a chain which does not count as a stitch. Then insert the hook into the same hole and grid. Make single crochet. Pin a marker at the first stitch. Next, insert the hook into the same large hole of the crochet piece, then into the second mesh grid. Remember, 1 mesh grid corresponds to 1 single crochet stitch. Next, we will crochet 1 single crochet into each corresponding stitch in the mesh grid. Be careful not to pull the stitch too tight as you work. Keep the tension even. Now that we've reached the first corner of the small square, we will crochet 2 single crochet stitches into this spot, with each stitch corresponding to the 2 mesh grids. We also need to crochet a single crochet stitch at the intersection part. Insert the whole V-shaped stitch. At the next corner of the small square, crochet 2 single crochet stitches, making sure they correspond with the 2 grids on the mesh canvas. Next, continue crocheting 1 single crochet stitch for each stitch, matching them with the corresponding mesh grids. When we reach the second corner of the large piece, first crochet 2 single crochet stitches into the large hole. 1 stitch in each grid. Then, turn the piece and crochet 2 more single crochet stitches into the same hole to complete the corner. Next, continue crocheting, matching each stitch with each mesh grid. The crochet method for the corners of the two small squares and the intersection part remains the same as before. 2 more single crochets in the first corner. Then make a slip stitch at the first marked stitch. Once the attachment is complete, the back of the piece looks like this. Next, we will crochet 3 rows of single crochet stitches along this side, with each row consisting of 46 single crochet stitches. Let me demonstrate. First, crochet a chain stitch. Then, crochet a single crochet stitch into the same stitch. Pin a marker. Then, crochet 1 single crochet stitch into each stitch until you reach the last stitch. After the last stitch at the corner, we have 46 stitches in total. Then crochet another chain stitch, and we will flip the piece over. Next, we will continue crocheting from the last stitch on the back side, with single crochet in each stitch until we reach the first stitch. Then, we will repeat the same method to complete the third row, also using all single crochet stitches. By the end of both the second and third rows, there will be a total of 46 stitches. After the last stitch of the third row, crochet a slip stitch into the first stitch of the second row. Make a chain and pull it tightly to secure the yarn in place. Cut off the yarn. With the 3 rows complete on one side, we will now crochet 3 rows of single crochet stitches on the opposite side, following the same method. Locate the second stitch from the left at the corner. Take the yarn and make a slip knot. Place the loop on the hook and pull it through. Make a chain and a single crochet in the same stitch. Place a marker at the first stitch. Continue to crochet single crochet in each stitch. Use the same method to complete 3 rows. The crocheting of 2 sides are complete. Now we will begin crocheting the round pieces for the 2 sides of the bag. This piece consists of 5 rounds of double crochet stitches. Let me demonstrate. Take out the yarn and begin with a magic ring. Hold the yarn and wrap it around your fingers twice to form 2 rings. Transfer the rings to your other hand. Hold the bottom of the rings tightly to secure them in place. Insert the hook into the large hole and hook the thread out. Then crochet 2 chain stitches. After that, we will crochet 12 double crochet stitches in the ring. Mark the first double crochet stitch. After finishing, count to confirm that there are 12 double crochet stitches in total. Locate the short tail and gently pull it to find the moving thread. Pull the thread out in the opposite direction until the circle is completely closed. Pull the short tail again firmly to tighten the circle. Make a slip stitch in the marked stitch to finish the first round. Place the yarn tail over the hook. In the second round, we will crochet 2 double crochet stitches into each stitch. By the end of the second round, you will have 24 double crochet stitches. First, crochet 2 chain stitches. Then, in the first stitch, crochet 2 double crochet stitches. Place the yarn tail over the hook to conceal it as you crochet. This is also called double crochet increase, which crochet 2 double crochets into 1 stitch. Pin a marker at the first double crochet stitch. Next, crochet 2 double crochet stitches into each stitch all around. Make slip stitch in the first stitch to close the second round. Next, we'll begin the third round. In the first stitch, we will make a single double crochet, and in the second stitch, we will make a double crochet increase, which make 2 double crochets in 1 stitch. Repeat this pattern 12 times around the circle. To begin, crochet 2 chains. Then crochet a double crochet in the first stitch. Place a marker. In the second stitch, put 2 double crochets. This pattern makes 1 group. Continue crocheting the remaining 11 pattern groups. After finishing the last group, make a slip stitch to close the round. You can continue following the instruction to complete all 5 rounds, increasing the size with each round. After finishing the 5th round, there will be a total of 60 stitches. Leave an approximately 31.5 inches tail of yarn before cutting it. Repeat the process to crochet the other round piece. Take out the mesh canvas from the kit. Since the size is a bit large, we need to trim the outer round to adjust it to the proper size. Cut off the outermost row along the edge of the second to last round to reduce the size. Place the round piece over the mesh canvas. They should match perfectly in size. Now, we will sew the round piece and the mesh piece to the main body. Since there are 75 stitches along the side of the main body and 60 stitches around the round piece, we will sew them together stitch by stitch. At every 5th stitch, we will sew 2 stitches together to adjust the count. Let me demonstrate how to sew it. Align the plastic piece with the round piece. Locate the bottommost V-stitch and thread the yarn needle through it. We will connect the round piece with the longer side of the rectangle. Since this is the first stitch, we will sew back and forth through 2 more stitches at this position to secure it properly. The position for the second stitch is in the space next to the end of the second row of edging. We will sew it in at this corresponding position. Since the number of grids on the round mesh piece is much greater than the stitches on the round crochet piece, we don't need to match each stitch exactly to the grids. We just need to match the stitches on the crochet piece one by one, while for the mesh grids, we can roughly find the corresponding positions. The position for the third stitch is also at the chain stitch. We will sew it with the corresponding stitch on the round pieces. For the fourth stitch, we will sew it to the corner grid of the rectangular mesh piece. Now that we've reached the fifth stitch, as mentioned before, we will sew this stitch by threading it once more through the fourth stitch of the round piece to align the stitch count with the rectangular piece. Thread into the next grid, which is the fifth grid of the rectangular piece. Next, we will continue sewing the next group of 5 stitches following the same pattern. Sew the first 4 stitches one by one correspondingly, and for the fifth stitch on the rectangular piece, connect it to the previous stitch on the round piece. Please note that the connections are made on both crochet and mesh pieces. For the last stitch, we will sew through it several extra times to ensure it's securely fastened. After the round piece is sewn onto the rectangular piece, we will sew to connect the first stitches on both sides of the rectangular piece to join them together securely. Next, we will conceal the yarn tail to the back, then tie a knot and cut off the yarn. Then, we will repeat the process to sew the other side of the round piece. After that, we will attach the D-ring on both sides. The sewing position will be at the top of the second round of the round piece. Align the curved side of the D-ring with the opening of the bag. Thread the yarn through from the back of the piece at top of the second round. Then wrap the yarn around the flat side of the D-ring. And thread the yarn back. Tie a knot with the yarn tail. Then thread the yarn to the front and wrap the ring again. Repeat the process several times until the ring secured in place. Cut off the yarn and tie several knots on the back. Use the same method to attach the ring on the other side. Take out the zipper lining from the kit and place it inside the bag. Align the edge of the zipper with the opening of the bag. Use a sewing needle to sew back and forth along the lining. Thread the embroidery floss to the stitch of the crochet piece. Then thread along the lining. When sewing, try to follow along the zipper, keeping the stitches straight. Tie knots on the back and cut the thread. Attach the strap provided in the kit. The pretty cylindrical bucket bag is finished.